Alright, we're going to be doing this mechanical assembly drawing of this worm gear assembly. Okay, I'm going to come right down to the bottom over here. It says print the title and the scale in the spaces provided. So straight away what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some construction lines first, just to have some lines to write on beautifully and to get the height of the writing correct. And it is worm gear assembly. Gear assembly. Scale, right, scale SCALE, okay. Note, I actually wrote scale out. Don't just put 1:1. I know that they've got scale there, but they actually wanted to write scale 1:1 in that space. Right, okay, the next thing is, you can see that they've given these points P and point Q. There's point P over there, there's point Q over there, and you'll see that on the sheet over here. They've also given you the center lines for the view that they're wanting. That would be the right view that they're wanting you to draw out, okay? A right view, and the very first thing that we're going to actually see on that right view is going to be this shaft, okay? There's that shaft, and that's going to be sticking through everything. So we need to draw that out, and you'll see that there's a little keyway in there as well. So I'm going to start by drawing that shaft. It is a M16. You see an M16 over there, and that shaft is going to be that M16. So I'm going to take my circle stencil over here, and I'm going to pop that in with a 16 millimeter diameter over there. 16, get that all sorted out beautifully, and draw in a beautiful circle going around there. I'm just going to erase this little piece over here because we're going to need to draw in that little slot in there. It says that it's a 4 times 6, so it's a 6 millimeter going down there and 4 over there. So I'm going to take my 4 millimeter circle stencil over here. Just going to draw in some construction lines. Just a little arc there, little arc there. And once I've got that, I now know that I've got the 2 millimeter gap that I need coming down on this thing. Just take my set square quickly and drop a line down over here, coming down over there, coming down over there, and I can now measure off that 3 millimeter gap, 3 millimeters, 3 mils coming down from that point over there, 3 millimeters there. I can then draw in that little slot, across over here, there we go, draw that up over there, draw that up over there, and just going to fix in that little piece of line there. Right, that's done. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is to calculate what that thread is. It says it's times 2, so I need to take away 4 millimeters from the 6, which would give me 12. So I need a 12 millimeter circle stencil, and we are going to draw in the thread for this thing. Let's just find the 12. There it is. Get that all lined up on there, beautifully lined up over there. And I take my 0.3 pencil this time, and I'm going to draw in a line coming around over here. Let's just get that right amount of lead out, coming around, and just draw in a little bit coming from there, coming around, with a little bit of a break in that line to show the thread. Right, once we've got that in place, the next thing to do is to draw the hexagonal nut that needs to go over that. And I need that circle coming around there, so I say 1.5 multiplied by 16 is equal to 24, and that will give us the diameter for that circle that those tangents are made to. So I take that 24 millimeter circle stencil, make sure that I've got that beautifully lined up on there, and looks about right. take my 0.7 pencil, draw in a line coming around like that, and then I take the M16 on the circle stencil. Now, not circle stencil, nut and bolt stencil. Now, if I put it on that way around, I would end up with the wrong view. Note, it says over here that they want 3 faces of the M16. So if I had it on in that direction, I'd only be able to see 2 faces. So I need to swing that around so that I can see the 1, 2, 3 faces in my front view when I get to drawing that. All right, so let's just line that up beautifully on the circle there. Let's get that beautifully done. Take my 0.7 pencil again and bang that in over there. If you don't have a stencil, you're obviously just going to use your set square and draw tangents to the circle like that and like that. Right, okay. Okay, once you've done that, they say to me that they want hidden detail only on the spur gear. Now, if you look over here, there's the spur gear that they've got there, and you can see that little piece in there. That's the hidden detail that they're wanting on that whole story over there. So let's just pop that in. And to do that, I'm just going to take this measurement over here. There's my 3 millimeters. I'm going to swing that around over there and bang that in over there. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to draw in hidden detail. Coming across here, a little bit of hidden detail there, and a little bit of hidden detail coming down over here, linking up over there, so that I have that little keyway in there. Right, once you've done that, the next thing that we're going to do is to draw in this PCD over here. That is this chain line, and that PCD is 78 millimeters. So 78 divided by the 2 is equal to 39 millimeters. I'm going to take my pair of compasses and I'm going to just sharpen them up so that I get a nice thin line. I'm going to set that to 39 millimeters. 39 millimeters as accurately as I can. Come in over here and I'm going to draw in that 39 going around here. So long dash, short dash, 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 long dash going over there. Right, okay, there's my PCD done. Okay, I'm then going to just blunten this very slightly so that I can draw a nice thick circle coming around, and that is going to be at 84 millimeter, so 84, and that's going to be a 42 millimeter radius. There's 42 millimeters. Get my pair of compasses now and draw in that circle coming around, nice and dark and thick. Nice. Try and keep your thickness of those lines the same as the other lines that you have on the drawing. Right, next thing that we need to do. Okay, I think once we've done that, I'm going to come across and I'm actually going to start by drawing out this spur gear over here on the front view, so I can then transfer that across into this view later. Right, so I've got a 100 millimeter diameter going from the center of P, so that would be 50 millimeters. Take my pair of compasses, set that to 50 accurately, and bang that in at that point P over there. I'm going to draw in a nice dark circle coming around. Let's just do that beautifully at the top there. There we go. Right, it then says that I've got a PCD of 90, so that would be 45. I'm just going to sharpen my pair of compasses so that it is nice and thin, and I set that to 45 millimeters over there. Take that, knock that in over here, and do a nice long dash, short dash, 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 long dash, short dash over there. Right, there's my PCD done. It then says that I've got this circle in here. I'm going to draw these two circles in. I'm not 100% sure, but I know this thing is being sectioned, but I'm just going to draw these things in as this part I'm not actually going to be sectioning because we haven't been taught how to do the this stuff over here, and that's just going to get confusing. So I'm just going to put this thing in because it's going to help me to get this this stuff going on the right view. Okay, so it says over here that I've got a let's have a look. See, what is this little? That's a M16 as well. So there we go, M16. Let's just take that and get that in over there. 16mm circle. Let's pop that in over there. Get that all beautifully lined up over here. Wind that across there and smash that in over there. Right. The other part of this, it says that we have got a 36mm circle over there. Unfortunately, I don't have a 36 on my circle stencil, so I just need to take my pair of compasses. Just going to blunten them slightly so I get a nice thick line there. And 36 is 18mm. Set my pair of compasses to 18, and I'm going to bang that in over here and draw a beautiful, nice, dark circle coming around there. Right, that's good. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is to then start with this, this shaft that's going to come through over here with the worm gear on there. Right, I'm going to measure off a few things, but before I do that, I'm going to draw in the center line that comes through here with my 0.3 pencil. Right, let's go. 0.3 pencil, get that beautifully lined up there, and take this and go long dash, short dash, 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 long dash. Okay, and once we've done that, I'm going to then measure off these distances over here. Got a 19mm distance. 19, like that. Bang that in over there. Okay, it then says that I've got a 10mm distance. Take that. Measure that off over there. The next one is 62mm. 62mm. From there. To there. Okay, then another 10mm. 10mm coming out to there. Then 35mm. 35mm coming up to there. And then 29mm going out to there. 29mm going out to there. That's the very end of this thing. Well, not quite to the very end. You can see that there's this that thread, so there'll be another 2mm going out there, which I'm actually going to just measure off 2mm coming out over there. Remember the thread was, they told us over here 16 times 2, so that little gap over there will be that 2mm. Right, okay, once we've got that, let us just draw in some construction lines over here so that we get this. There's a construction line there, a construction line there, a construction line there. I'm just drawing with color over here just to make it slightly clearer. There we go. Coming across here. There we go. There we go. Okay, you can draw a little bit lighter construction lines. I'm just doing that so that it's crystal clear as to what I'm doing. This line goes across to there. This line goes across to there. Right, once we've got that, I'll now look at these 10mm gaps over here. It says that that's a diameter of 20. Alright, I'm just going to take my circle stencil and bang it in over here. And just get that lined up over there. There we go, that's beautifully lined up there. And I'm just going to draw a little construction line there. Little construction line arc over there. Once I've got those in place, I can then draw in a line coming across over there. A line coming across over there to that tangent. That lined up over there beautifully. And a line coming across there. A line coming across there. Right, once I've got that, I can draw in a line going up over here. So we'll finish that off over there. There we go. There we go, that goes over there. Okay, I now need to look at this worm gear over here. Now we need to use the Sans Code drafting practice stories for the worm gear. And to do that, I'm going to start out by drawing a center line coming across here where it touches the PCD of that spur gear. So long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long dash, going out there. I'm going to take my pair of dividers quickly. I'm going to take that measurement over there and I'm going to swing that around onto this side so that I have another long dash, short dash story going over here. Long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long dash, going over there. Right, once I've done that, I'm just going to, I'm going to take this distance and just show this distance here. Okay, so we've got that little distance over there, which is the height of the tooth. Okay, there's your height of the tooth. And I need to bomb that up over here, make a little mark on that side. And I'm just going to get that distance. Just going to wind that out over here. Right, so I've got that distance over there for that tooth, and that distance over there for that tooth. Right, okay, I'm just going to take that, and I'm going to draw a construction line coming across here. Line coming across over there, line coming across over there, and once I've done that, I then take a 45-degree set square, if I can just find it, there it is, 45-degree set square. Just going to take that from there, and I'm going to draw in the 45-degree going up to there. Right, take a 45-degree coming down from there, over here, do a 45-degree, oh no, sorry, that's not right, sorry, let's just get a brain here, sorry, let's just rub that out. I'm being stupid. Okay, I thought that there might be a problem there. Right. Okay, once we've done that, sorry, I need to take this very small little gap over here. Alright. It's this little gap over here. Across over here. That is actually lining up perfectly. Darn. Okay, so I wasn't that wrong. There we go. So that's coming across there. That gives me the end of the thing. It is actually working out. So what I was doing was correct. Okay, let's carry on. I was actually correct. I just suddenly thought, hang on, maybe that gap over there is not the same on either side, but it is actually the same. So I can come in over here and I can draw that in perfectly from there, going up to there. Okay, and take that from there, going down to there. There's this side. There we go. From there, going up to there. There, going down to there. Right. Draw in a line going across over here. Draw in a line going across over there. And I'm going to draw in lines coming all the way across over here and all the way across over here. Right, there we go. Once we've done that, I'm going to just draw in a line going from there to there, a line going from there to there, and I'm going to hatch that section over there to get the rest of this worm gear in place. So there we go. Go as fast as I can over here. Okay, that is that worm gear done. Once I've done that, I can then continue with the that shaft coming out over here, and it says that I've got a 35mm shaft and that's 16mm, so I can take that 16mm shaft coming out that 35mm, just going to take that across over here, banging that across over there. There's the 16 over there, so bang that across over there. Okay, and I can then draw in. That then goes into a thread over here. So I'm just going to draw a line coming down over here for that part over there. It will then continue out another 29mm, also 16, so I could have actually continued that out, but I'm not going to do that just yet because I need to draw in that nut. Alright, let's get back to this little game over here. I forgot to put this washer in onto the right view over here, so let's just do that. It says 32 diameter over there. Let's take my set square, my, what you call it, you know what I'm talking about, one of those stencil things. Pop that in over there, take that over there, and I'm going to bang a washer in, coming around over here. There we go, washer done. Okay, right, so I've got the nut, the washer, that spur gear. Right, what comes after that? I've got a spring, and then this part A over here. Okay, I'm going to start by drawing that part A because I've finished that shaft thing over here. I need to put in a bearing first. Okay, so I need to draw this bearing in onto this part over here. It says that it has a 36 diameter over there. So let's just get that going. Let's just set this pair of compasses I'm holding into an 18mm radius over there. Bang that in over here. Just going to draw a little arc at the top, an arc at the bottom over there, giving me that 36. I'm just going to draw in a construction line there, a construction line there. Right, once I've got that in place, I'm then going to measure off this, it is an 8mm. Okay, so just take your dividers here, measure off 8mm going in over there. Okay, let's drop a construction line coming down over here. Nice little construction line coming down over there. And I can then draw in the bearing, which is going to go from there down to there, from there down to there. Draw that going all the way down there, all the way down there. Take that, smash that across there, smash that across there. Right, then you pick up your 0.3 pencil and you're going to draw in the Sans Coded Drafting Practice representation of a bearing. So you don't need to draw in all that beautiful detail on the bearings. You just need to put a nice little cross across it like that. There you go. And there you go. Right, okay, what's next on this? I need to put in this little part A over here. Now, look at this paper and had a little bit of a problem with it. Here we go, I've got this little man. Okay, the way that it was placed on your drawing is like that. Okay, so there it is. If the little man is standing over here and he's looking across at this, he will be able to touch that part over there, which means that I should be able to see a solid line over there. But they're actually not wanting that. They're wanting this to be in the opposite direction. If you look at the isometric drawing, I'll have a look see at that now. So I'm just going to pop that in over there, just like that. And you see I'm looking at a flat surface over there, and that part is sticking out there. You'll see over there, I'm looking at that flat surface over there, and the other part must be sticking out the back. So that's the orientation that I think that they really wanted you to have. And since I've got a brain, I'm going to go with that. Right, okay, so I need to draw it out looking like that on this thing. It says that I have got a diameter of 60 millimeters over here. So I'm going to set a pair of compasses to 30 millimeters. 30 millimeters. There we go. Pair of compasses set to 30 over there. I'm going to come in over here. I'm going to draw a little arc going around like that and like that. I'm going to draw in some construction lines coming across here. Just going to use red for this. So there and there. And you'll see that this part over here is 36. It says that that comes out 5 millimeters over there. So I'm going to draw in some little blue lines, just measure off 5 millimeters, 5 millimeters with my pair of dividers over here. Let's just get that nicely measured. 5 millimeters going out over here. Bang that in over there. I'm going to draw in a line coming up over here, and from there to there, from there to there. That can come all the way down, actually, all the way down there, all the way up there. It then says that it comes across. Let's just have a look at that. That's 6 millimeters coming across over there. So take that 6 millimeters, bang that in over here. Draw in a nice little line coming down over here and down over there. Right, let's draw a line coming across over there, line coming across from that 36 over there, line coming across from that 36 over there, line at the top over here, line coming down to there, a line coming down to there. Note, that line stops at that point over there. Don't go further than that. That line goes up to there because we are sectioning through this thing. That line goes up to there. Right. Okay. Let's just draw that in nice and dark. And I then have these little holes going through here. Now, according to convention, I'm wanting to see those holes so that the guy that's going to manufacture this thing will have that detail. I know that that section line would actually go through that part, but we're going to rotate this round so that we can get these things drawn on either side so that the guy that's going to manufacture it gets that information. So let's just rotate this around, and these little stories that we've got going through here, let's just have a look. I'm sure that they give you some information about it. It says it's a six countersunk holes, and there are 6 millimeter holes on a PCD of 50. Right, okay, so we need to set a pair of compasses to 25 quickly. 25 millimeters. Let's just set that up nicely. There we go. Bang that in over here. Just going to draw a little construction line over there, a little construction line over there. I'm going to draw in a line coming across over here. Long dash, short dash, long dash. Long dash, short dash, long dash over there. Right, once you've got that in place, I then take my circle stencil. It's a 6 millimeter diameter hole that we're needing. So I'm just going to take that, put that over there, get a little construction line arc over there, construction line arc over there. Come up over here, get that lined up on there beautifully. And a little construction line arc over there, little construction line arc over there. Take that. Just going to draw construction lines coming across beautifully like that and like that. And like that, and like that. All right, and you can see these little circles are basically touching over there, so I'm going to take my 45-degree story over here, and we need to draw in the 45 degrees going from there out to there, so I'm just going to draw that in. There we go. From there, drop a line going, there we go. There we go. And once we've got that, we can draw in a line going out like that. And a line going out like that. Swing that around. Draw in a line going out like that. And then finish that off with holes going through here. A hole going through there. Hole going through there. There we go. Right. Once we've done that, I'm going to quickly hatch that. Okay, this I'm going to use quite small hatching. Okay, just hatching up to that shaft over there. There we go. Continuing through here. No, that's done with a 0.3 pencil. Right, that's that done. Okay, the next thing that we're going to pop in here is that spring over here. That spring needs to be put in. It is 8 millimeters multiplied by 2. That would be 16 millimeters. Right, let's measure that off quickly. Measuring 16 millimeters over here. Let's bang that in over here. Right, that sort of comes out to that point over there. Right, let's just draw in a construction line going up over there. Right, there we go. Okay, it says that it is a diameter of 24. I'm going to take a 24 millimeter coming in over here. 24 millimeters, just going over there. 24 millimeter over there. Right. Okay, once I've got that in place, I'm going to draw in a construction line coming across over there. A construction line coming across over there. And I need to break that up into the 8 millimeter gaps. All right, so we just take this. And we just have a quick squiz. Okay, so it's 8 millimeters, but I need to break that up into 1, 2, 3, 4 little things. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw in a construction line coming out over here. Let's take that out over there, and I'm just going to mark off 4 equal spaces on that. Let's just take this, wind that down a little bit, and mark off 4 little marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to take that, line that up over there. And I'm going to then take that and draw that across, just lining up my set squares over here and just sliding that across over here. Little dash over there, slide that out over there. Dash over there, slide that out over there, dash over there. Right, there are my 4 equal spaces, and I can now just draw some construction lines coming down over here, from there. And once I've got that in place, I can then draw in this little zigzaggy story over here. So I'm going to draw a line coming down from there, going down to there. From there, going up to there. Line coming down from there to there. line going up to the end of this. And drop a line coming down all the way through that, and drop a line coming down all the way down to there. Right, once we've done that, the next little thing that we need to do is to pop on this spur gear story. That is this story over here, and it says that it is 15 millimeters. So I'm going to measure off that 15 millimeters. There we go, 15 millimeters coming out over here. Bang that in over there, and draw in a construction line going up over here. Construction line coming up over there. I've got that over here all beautifully drawn off, so I can draw the line coming across there, line coming across there, and the PCD line. Let's just do that quickly. Take my 0.3 pencil, wherever that might have gone, there it is. Long dash, short dash, long dash over there, come down over here. Long dash, short dash, long dash over there. Right, the size of that tooth, remember, we've got this. Let's just increase the center lines on this thing. Long dash, short dash, long dash, long dash, short dash, long dash. Okay, there's my center lines, and I need to take this story over here, that little tooth height over there. We need to swing that round, pop that over there, and do the same thing over here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that from the center, it's just easier. Take that over there, swing that round to this side, bang that in over there, and I can now take a line coming across over here into this gear. There we go. There's the height of the tooth over there, height of the tooth over there, and I can now draw in. There's the end of it. There's the end of it over there. Come down over here. We are going to need to draw in a keyway, so just be careful. We've got that keyway that's happening in here, coming across. Let's see, it goes all the way through, doesn't it? Yeah, that goes all the way through, so I've got a keyway that I need to draw in. You can see the top of the keyway from my hidden detail over there. That's going to go all the way through. Oh geez, sorry, I've made a lapse over there. That goes to that point over there. I think I might have measured in the incorrect spot over here. Let's just check. 15 millimeters. Darn it. Sorry, let's just check. Yeah, no, I measured in the right place. I've just put these lines in the wrong place. So I'm just going to rub things out here a little bit. That little piece over there. Coming in. I got that correct. I can draw in a line coming straight down over here. Line coming straight down from there. Down, 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 down. Continuing down over there. This over here, I can draw this coming all the way down to there. I can continue that on the other side of that. Right. We've got this keyway story in here. Let's not mess that up. Keyway going through there. We have got a keyway over there. Okay, the bottom of the keyway over there. That can continue down to there. All right. And I'll be able to do a little bit of a thing over there and just do some hatching. Hatching on that shaft and hatching on the other thing. All right, let's just do that. Just going to do some hatching over here to show that we've got a part section. There we go. A little bit of hatching coming across here. There we go. And this part can then be hatched as well. Let's just do that as fast as I can. up to the shaft. Right, don't go into the shaft over there. Come over here, let's do that part. And you can then see the height of the tooth of that gear, which is quite important. There we go. Okay, right, once we've done that, the next thing to do is to put in the washer. Okay, we said that we've got an M32 washer and it's 2 millimeters in thickness. So let's just take that thickness of 2 mils, going in over there. Bang that in over here. There's my washer over there. It's going to draw in a nice little construction line coming down over here with that 2 millimeter gap. Come in over here, take those lines coming across from the washer. There's my washer over there, and same story over there. There's the washer over there. Draw that in, and of course we do not section washers, so that I can draw a line going all the way down there, a line going all the way down here. Right, then I need to draw in this nut over here. It says that it's a 10 millimeter nut, so I'm going to take my 10 mil measurement over here, bang that in over there. There we go, and I can then take my stencil over here and I can use that to draw in this nut. If you don't have a stencil, you're going to have to do a whole lot of construction methods. Now remember, it is a according to convention, that nut we don't need to draw like the bottom part of it. And I'm just going to draw in. Sorry, I just need to get another pencil here very quickly. There we go. Right. There we go. Let's put that down there. Oopsie daisy. Sorry, my stencil moved with that horribly. Okay. Let's just get that lined up over there. There. Coming across the top, all the way across, down like that. And then going around like that. And those little curvies in there. Okay, and you should find that that links up perfectly with that part over there. Drawing a line over there. Drawing a line over there. Across over here. Drawing a line over there. And drawing a line over there. And I'm just going to rub out that little snitched thing that I just messed up over there. Right, just fix that up a little bit. There we go. Right, once you've done that, come in over here. You can see where the where that thread part is. That would be at that point over there. It's going to draw some construction lines coming across. So there's my thread coming across, and at the top over here, thread coming across to there. Okay, and from there I should be able to use my 45-degree set square to draw in with a 7 pencil, a line coming at 45 degrees going over there, and at 45 degrees going over there, and then a line coming across over here, and down like that. Right, I then draw a line with a 0.3 pencil, there, thin line going in there, a thin line going in there, showing the thread. And then we also just need to check how long that thread was. It says that it was 29 millimeters going across over there. Let's just measure off that 29 millimeters going back. I think I'm just going to check that because that can have some interesting ramifications over here. All right, so that goes all the way through to there. At that point over there. Right, 29 millimeters from, it was from the thread over there. Sorry, that goes over there. From there, going to that point over there. Right, yes. So I've got a very small little bit of thread that comes through. And you can see my little orange line over there. Let's just do that. A line coming to that little orange line over there. And a little line coming through to that orange line over there, goes to there. I have got a nice dark line coming down at that point, through the shaft, from there going through to there. Right, nice dark thick line there. That shaft is still very much in place over there, and over there. And then we need to take our 0.3 pencil, and we need to do a little 30-degree line going like that, and a little 30-degree line going like that. There we go. Okay, there's the thread done on on that shaft, and I just want to draw in a line over here, which it's not that obvious, but I'm just going to thicken that in over there just in case they're going, well, maybe you can see that. Okay, right, that's that part. Then we need to come back to this right view and finish it off. We've got this, this story that needs to be drawn in over there. That says it's 24 millimeters and then a 4 millimeter gap on either side. Okay, so let's start with that 24 millimeter. Just going to take my circle stencil over here, grab a 24 millimeter diameter over there, bang that in over there. Just going to draw in a nice little construction line arc on that side, construction line arc on that side, and I can then draw in some construction lines going up over there. Right, construction line coming down over there, construction line coming down over there, giving me that thing, and then we go, okay, 24 plus 8, okay, that's 32. I'm just going to get 32 millimeter over here as well. Let's pop that in, get that sorted out. Draw a little arc on that side, a little arc on that side, and we can draw in some construction lines going up over there. Let's just do that. Construction line going up there, construction line going up over there. Right, let's come in over here and draw in a line coming across over there, 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 and then it says that I need to come out 16 millimeters from there. So I just need to draw a center line going across here. Let's just get that. Long dash, short dash, 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 long dash going across there. 16 millimeters, let's measure that off quickly. 16 millimeters coming out over here. Bang that in over there. Draw a line coming down over here. Draw in a line coming across from there to there. And then it continues out over here. I'm just going to take that out. It says that I need to go out. It says that they wanted to go out 26 millimeters. So measure off 26 millimeters over there. From that end going out to there. Let's just draw in a little construction line so I know where to stop. There we go. Okay. What I'm going to do is just to draw these lines coming in. Let's just try and find my pencil again. Ah, there it is. Got stuck in the board over there. Right, line coming across over there, going up to that story over there. Take a line coming across from there to there. Line going across from there to there. Right, once I've done that, I'm just going to take this, draw in some construction lines over here, there, and there, and, oopsie, sorry, get out the way, a line coming across over there, and there, and take this, draw in a line coming across like that. Right, once we've done that, take a pair of compasses, set that to this radius over here. Let's just get that nicely set up. windy, 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 over there. That links up perfectly over there. Okay. Swing that around, like that. Get that in the right place, and draw that in over there. And then I'm going to draw a little arc coming around from there. Let's just get that in the right place. Oh dear, really struggling here. There we go. There we go. That goes over there. And once we've got that, do a little bit of hatching in there. Sorry, 45 degree set screen, 60. It's close. 0.3 pencil. Bang this in. Nice small hatching going across this over here. There we go. That's that done. The top of this thing is going to be over there. Bang that across over there. Got a center line over here for the PCD. 0.3 pencil, long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long dash, going over there. We can put the PCD story in over here as well. Long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long dash, going over there. Even though you can't see it, you can put those center lines in always. They're very useful to someone actually making this thing. Line coming straight down over here. Line coming straight down over there. Line coming straight down over there. Line coming straight down over there. Line coming straight down over here. Right, that's fun. Okay, I need to draw in a what's his name? A cutting plane thing set over here that you've got that cutting plane going through the shaft over there. It's also showing it over here on the part E. Okay, so I'm going to draw in that cutting plane. There we go. Line that up over there. Long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long dash over there. Take my 0.7 pencil. Just going to darken in that part over there. Take 0.7 pencil, darken in that part over there. Draw in a 0.3 line coming out over here, about 20 millimeters. Come up over here, a line about 20 millimeters coming out over there. And you can then draw in some arrowheads. Nice arrowhead coming out over here. There we go. It can be quite a nice long arrowhead. Nice thin long arrowhead. And a nice thin long arrowhead over there. Coming out over here. Let's just thicken that in there and there. Right, that's looking nice. And there we go. And once you've done that, they called it AA. All right. I just put that through the wrong place. That's very interesting. Oh my word. I just did a whole lot of stuff that I didn't need to do on this. Okay. Sorry, I'm putting this thing on the wrong thing altogether. I'm being an absolute fool over here. Sorry, I'm really not concentrating. Obviously the end of the drawing. And I'm really stuffing up over here. You do not put that cutting plane on there. Sorry, my bad. I'm being an idiot. I'm trying to put a cutting plane on the sectional view. That was really stupid. Sorry. Oh dear. I'm obviously feeling tired. Right. Okay, let's go. This exam session's been long. Right. Long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long dash. Okay. My goodness. Long dash, short dash. I'm glad I picked that up. Otherwise, I'd feel very silly. Okay. There's my darkened in part over there. There's my darkened in part over there. I'm just going to draw in my arrows. So I need to draw in a 0.3 line going in that direction over there, make it about 20 millimeters going out that way. Come up over here, line coming across over there, and take your pencil and make nice, beautiful arrows. Long, nice arrows sticking out over here, and a nice long arrow coming out over there. There we go. There we go. Right. There we go. And we can now draw in an A over there, and an A over there, showing that I'm looking across at this thing and I'm able to see that cut over there going through the whole story over here. Right. That is, I think, everything on this drawing. All right, I thought I was finished for a second, and then I realized that I still need to put in that bearing and that little plate story over there, which, note I was telling you about the fact that I needed to swing that thing around. Actually, you can swing that. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it like that. Yeah, that's fine. We know that we need two of those plates. The one is facing this way, the other one's facing that way. I originally didn't see it like that. Okay. Right. Okay, I'm going to just take this and I'm going to draw in that bearing first. You can see I've got the bearing over there. Just take that coming across over here very, very, very quickly. Coming across over there. That coming across over there. Right, once we've got that in place, I need to measure off that same bearing size over there. Pop that in over here. Knock that in over there. Draw in a line coming down from, there's my bearing, there it is. From there, going there, from there, going up to there. Take that, draw that across over there, draw that across over there, draw the line coming down over there, there. Take my 0.3 pencil, put in the little X to show that it's a bearing, one over there, and one over there. Smash that over here. Draw that in, coming down over there, and draw that in, coming down over there. Right, no, it's not done at a 45-degree angle, it's done just between the corners. Right, the next thing is to draw in one of these plates over here. Let's just take some lines coming across from that, all the way across there, all the way across there, and I can then measure off. It says that I had a 5mm gap over here, 5mm gap over there, bang that in over there, and that 6mm gap from there to there. Take that, bang that in over there, and I can now draw in some lines coming down over here. There we go, and there we go, from there down to there, and from there going up to there. Let's draw that in quickly. Line going up over there, which lines it perfectly there and there. Line coming down over here, there, there. Line coming across over here. Line coming across over here. Line coming across over here. Line coming across over there. Put those center lines in. Long dash, short dash, long dash. Over here. Long dash, short dash, long dash over there. We've got that 45mm story coming from the corner over there. 45-degree story coming in over there. Let's take that. I can then draw in a line coming up to there to get the 6mm hole. Let's draw a line coming down over here from that intersection of that 45 over there. I'm going to then draw in a hole. There we go. And down over here, let's draw in that hole. Over there. A hole. Over there. Draw in a line going from there to there. And going from there to there. And I can then draw in the 45-degree thing over there. And a 45-degree thing going from there. Swing the set square around. Draw that in over there. And draw that in over there. Right, once I've done that, I can then do the hatching on this thing. Oh no, I did that the wrong way around. What an idiot. Damn it. Just working too quickly and stupidly. Right, let's try that again. Rub out all of that. I'm an idiot, idiot, idiot. Right, let's do that again. Lines should be coming from that corner, idiot. Okay, there we go. Coming down there. Draw in my construction line coming down from there. I can then draw in these lines coming out from there to there. Line coming out from there to there. Line coming out from there to there. Line coming out from there to there. Fix up the line work. Fix up the line work. Fix up the line work over here. Fix up the line work over there. Draw in the 45-degree lines coming in over here. Line there. Line there. Swing that around. Line there. And a line coming down. Over there. And over there. Let's do that hatching. Got 0.3 pencil. Do this small hatching over here. As fast as you can. And that is that drawing completed.